In the last Let's Beat video, we got around on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and this time I wanted to reprise my old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles walkthrough I posted a couple years ago and reformat it for the mini-guide purposes of this series. So if this seems familiar, that's why. Unlike that Roger Rabbit video, I didn't record new footage using the input mapper this time, and I'm instead just going to talk over my old footage and condense this content down to the important bits where folks typically get hung up. So with that, just know that because this footage was captured as part of a charity stream a couple years ago for the Polymedia Podcast Network, you occasionally see pop-ups in the lower left for donations, and I've removed all of the audio, including my commentary from that video, for this guide. If you want to watch that video in full, it's linked in the description. Now once again, it's worth noting that my methods may not be the best for beating this game, but they are intended to be casual friendly and for folks who just want to see the end for once in their lives. If you have your own tips and hints, feel free to kindly post those in the comments. My mission here is to increase the accessibility of some of these childhood Nemesis games, but in a shorter format and with a little more explanation. A few things of note about this one before we get started. It is important to do whatever you can to keep every turtle alive. Switch between them when health is low to keep them all alive, and prioritize keeping Donatello and Leonardo alive at all cost, as they have longer ranged weapons that are more effective against most enemies. Donatello is especially powerful in this game. The bow staff has a long reach, he can attack up and down, he can attack behind himself, and his attacks just do more damage. One myth about this game is that this level is the toughest, but I'm here to tell you that it isn't. In fact, it might even be the easiest level in the game and definitely the quickest, but we'll get there. Most of the initial part of the game is pretty simple, so we'll skip ahead in bigger chunks. However, to start, know that you don't have to go into each and every manhole you come to. In fact, it's recommended you don't. Go to the farthest away from the starting point, located here. Just try not to get run over. And then once inside, take your time through here, and you'll eventually get to Bebop, the first boss, already. Switch to Donatello, and remember, I said that Donnie can attack to his rear, so you can attack while moving away from Bebop. You might take a little damage, but Bebop goes down pretty easy. Now back in the overworld, skip the next two manholes, and enter this one that you really can't avoid. This one right here. And again, avoid the truck so you don't get splatted. Immediately, there's a slice of pizza down here, which will fill up some health. Anytime you see pizza near an entrance or an exit, use that to top off any turtles that have been damaged. Once you pop back out, go in the building and make your way upstairs to fight Rocksteady. He's a little tougher than Bebop. One trick is to perch atop the crates with Donnie and attack down. Occasionally, you can whack him on the noggin. This takes longer, but ensures you won't take damage, like I did right there. Now we're almost to that mean old sewer level. Fight your way through the building, take your time, collect the pizza up there for Donnie or your most injured turtle. This building has 3 floors with lots of enemies, but again, if you have Donnie, you can take your time and make your way through relatively unscathed. There's a full pizza at the end, be sure to grab it. And then this jump here is finicky. It takes just a little tap. Just a little tap, tap, tap-a-roo to get across. Now it's time for the water stage. You're going to be doing some turtle switching here, so be ready. In fact, go ahead and switch to either Mikey or Raphael. You have 2 minutes and 20 seconds to disarm 8 bombs in here. You have to dodge electricity, spicy seaweed, and rotating fan blades. And of course, you have to find all 8 in that time limit. Now this is the route that I take. The first one is apparent. Then go over and go up to the second one. Then back down and to the right for the third. Up and to the left for the fourth. Then over to 5. Cross the gap and get to 6. Back out and then down and to the right for 7. Then down and hook back around all the way through the seaweed and around to 8, the last one. You'll feel compelled to rush because of the timer. But you can wait out the electricity, and don't worry, you probably will take damage. It's not the end of the world. Sometimes you'll have to fight the current with rapid swim tapping, but getting through here unscathed is not really an option. The trickiest part is getting through the spicy seaweed. Be ready to switch turtles to either Mikey or Raphael if you do take a ton of damage. If you're patient and careful, you should get to the end with plenty of time to spare. See? No problem. Now for Area 3. There are a few items we need to get in this area, namely missiles, scrolls, and rope. You'll come to the missiles first, and we'll need those for the turtle van so that we can make our way through the roadblocks that are coming up. To get the missiles, stop the van here at this building and fight your way through it. One trick inside this place is that if you perch here, just under the lip of the above platform, you can jump and glitch your way through. This saves you a pretty big trip over and back against the respawning enemies. Just be sure to grab the pizza over on the right on your way back out. Now, back in the van, the next stop will be farther south at this building with 2 entrances and a pool out front. A big thing I rarely hear anyone talk about with this game are the scrolls, the most powerful weapon in the game, and the surefire way to make this game easier on yourself. I'm going to show you where to farm those. Go in this door and fight your way around. Sometimes I leave and come back in until I get the enemies that I want to start off with. But eventually you'll fight your way through and you'll come across this icon. These are the scrolls. I usually will switch to Mikey or Raphael when I pick them up because it's important that you give the scrolls to a turtle that you don't use a ton because you want to hold on to these until the end of the game. And if you accidentally pick up any other item or weapon, like the shurikens for example, it will replace your scrolls. So again, switch over to Mikey or Raphael, let them pick up the scrolls, then switch back. Now, on your way out of here, make sure you pick up this rope icon. The rope will not replace your scrolls, and you need to get it in order to cross the rooftops later. You can run across these blocks here, you don't have to jump on each one, and then just do a little hop. And if you're moving, you'll miss that flying guy and then jump up and over, and then grab that full pizza there to top off your dudes, and to make up for all that spicy seaweed damage from earlier. Then fall in the water and you'll wash outside. And then just go back in and repeat until you have as many scrolls as you want and you have 4 turtles with bellies full of pizza. Each time you pick up the scrolls you'll get 20, and I like to give 40 or so to a couple of turtles, just to be safe. Once you have all the scrolls you want, hop back in the van and head south. Bust through the roadblocks with the missiles, but remember, those missiles are limited, so don't be willy-nilly. Make your way around the bottom and back up, carefully taking out the enemies and roadblocks, and then once you get here, this guy will dance around and then eventually park himself without a fight. And then once he's out of the way, go on around and enter the building. This area can be tough, so again, take your time, and once down in the sewer, you'll encounter one of the more precarious areas of the game. The jumps here are tough to get the hang of, and again, it's just another tap jump. If you jump too hard, you'll whack your precious green noggin and then fall in the water. There are a couple of these jumps to get through, and remember, if the blocks are spaced out one apart, you can just walk across them. Just be sure to grab that half pizza for whoever needs it. Now right here, just wait for this guy to fall off into the water like a doofus. And then when you get to this platform, get ready to take out a rogue bird, and then you gotta watch out, because depending on whichever enemy spawns on the other side, you could get, knocked into the water and washed back out the door. It's best to let the enemy come towards you some and then hop over it. Now grab your full pizza there, you've earned it, and since this one is close to an exit, pop back down and make sure all your turtles are topped off. Now go inside the next building, and once you reach the top floor, you're on the rooftops and about to face off against Slash, one of the tougher bosses in the game. He's pretty wily, but he's no match for scrolls, so switch to a turtle that has them and unleash a few on him. He has 2 phases, each one taking about 4 scrolls to defeat. Then Splinter drops down on an invisible elevator, and then it's time to hit the hangar. Now the hangar has a few routes you can take. You have no choice at the start and have to take the first door you see, but there's a full pizza on the other side, and if Slash got a hold of you, you can fill up here. You don't need ropes anymore, if you already picked them up when you got the scrolls, so you can skip that pickup on the next floor and make your way to the rooftops, where the turtles will automatically put the ropes to use. Collect the pizza on the other side for whoever needs it, and continue throughout the building, which is pretty straightforward. Next, you'll go down a manhole. Donatello is especially good here. Attack down on these laser turrets and simultaneously kill the flyby enemies. If the ones above you are blinking, just don't go under them. Once back outside, go to the lower manhole, or section 4 as you can see back there on the wall. Pop up and go down your only other option, number 5. This room is a little hairy. The magnets will pull you toward the spikes, and spikes are bad. You can take this guy out just by attacking straight across, and then you can eliminate these things flying above you. Then you can time your jump to where you don't even have to mess with the other one. Now go up and find Section 7. It's more of the same stuff as a room before. Here, you can sometimes switch to your scrolls and eliminate the enemies waiting for you on top of that magnet. I miss them here, but either wait for them to come out or use the scroll preemptively, because if you just blindly jump up into them, you'll have a bad time. And then once back outside, go to the upper manhole into Section 9, which is basically a gimme. Now, if you've lost a turtle at this point, good news, you can gain one back over here if you walk all the way to the far right. You'll have to dodge bombs being dropped by the planes, and then go down in that manhole over there. I didn't show that here, but here it is on the map. But since in this playthrough I have all my turtles at the moment, we're actually going to go down this manhole to get to Section 12. Now this area is tricky. The conveyor belts want you to become spike food, so just try to take your time, do a tap jump over, and land here. You could easily take this guy out with the bow staff, and guess what? There's a magic pizza here. You can't see it, but trust me, it's here. Jump to the right of that blinking thing to bam, free pizza. It's not the easiest place to refuel since there are laser turrets and it's a little finicky here, but if you need to top off some of your turtle boys, you can pop back in for that pizza a few times, just, be careful. Now, go straight down to get to room 15. It's more of the same, conveyor belts and lasers. There's a pizza down here in the middle too if you want it. You might take a little damage of the spikes, but it's a full pizza, so it's probably worth it. Now further over here, be sure to wait and let this guy pass, because if you jump into him, you'll get cooked. This jump is trickier than it looks because that belt is moving towards you and there are lasers firing at you. Do a tap jump and then plow forward and up the ladder. Don't let up on the D-pad or you'll fall in the fire and go straight to turtle heaven. The next section is the most nerve-wracking for me. It's room 17. It's the hole at the top right here. Now, take out the laser here and then walk over and stab down to get a 2-for-1 on this laser and dude combination. And then take your time through here, stabbing up and down with Donnie. And then you go down into what I like to call the run killer. You have to be exact through here, because if you hesitate even a little, you're a turtle pancake. Now, this first room here is harmless, so it's a good opportunity to practice falling down in these holes quickly without getting caught on the ledges, because in this next room, you have to race downward before being smashed to death. You can grab the pizza slice here, but in the next rooms, the pickups will get you killed, so just leave them be. So just get to the ledge, drop down, and make sure you get it right, get confident, and then go for it. So you're closer to the gap on the left when you start, so go left, then back right, then back left, and then down through the middle and out. Then you got to do it again. But for the last gap of each, I tend to jump left, like toward the hole, and then tap back right to sort of make sure I hit it and not the edge. That section was probably the hardest part of the level, because the boss here is a joke, assuming you still have Donnie. You just park right under his chin and stab upward over and over until he's dead. Now you're in Area 5. And it's not the all-out run killer that last section could be, but it is a speed run killer because the location of the boss is randomized. There are 3 places that it can be, and you have to go through each one through to the end before realizing it's not the right place. I would suggest putting Leo in instead of Donnie here because you might encounter a fair amount of friction and you want Donnie healthy for the boss. Raphael is also decent in here, I just wouldn't recommend Mikey. So walk south and go down the first manhole you see. Try to avoid the spotlights. If the boss is in here, then it's the easiest place to take it on. All 3 locations you can access the cave are shown here on this map. If the boss isn't at the end of the cave you enter, you have to backtrack all the way out and pick another one to go in. You gotta be a little bit lucky. The enemies down here are weird and mean, and really it takes a lot of practice to get familiar with them. The biggest advice I can give is just to take your time. These spiky enemies are the worst, and should be avoided or taken out from a safe place if possible. Now on this run, I got pretty lucky and encountered the boss in the first cave I tried, so there's not a lot I can show you about the other parts of this level. But above ground there is a building, showing it here, where you can collect a pizza to refill your health, and you can also get a downed turtle back if you've lost one. Once the boss fight begins, switch over to Donnie and duck at the edge of the screen. That electricity can't hurt you if you duck, and then just start stabbing upward to take out those mounted turrets on the vehicle. Keep an eye on the jumping foot ninjas raining down and take them out so they don't land on you. Now once both turrets are gone, now it's time to focus on the eyeball, so jump up, and if a foot member gets below you while you're on this platform, they can't hurt you, so just ignore them. Stab upward at the eye with little jumps when it opens up. Don't jump into the eyeball, you will take damage. Eventually, it'll go down. Now for the final stage. Now it's a doozy, but if you have scrolls and all your turtles, then you're in good shape. There are hovering enemies in this level that shoot lasers at you, and they do a ton of damage if you engage with them. You'll spot the first two pretty early. Again, don't engage with them, just duck and let them go by. You see that full pizza down there? Yeah, we're gonna go get that, but just take your time. On your way, just stab down to take out this turret to make things easier on you when you go down there, and then walk over and grab that pizza. Now that you've got that, you wanna go back and go up here, and if you need to, use some of your scrolls on these evil kangaroo enemies. You want to make sure you have like 10 scrolls at the very least for the very last stretch of the game, but if you have some to spare, go ahead and use them. Just don't use them while walking toward enemies, or you risk picking up a different item and losing your scrolls. Like right here. If I had been walking right here, I would have lost all 38 of the scrolls in Mikey's inventory. Now you don't even have to engage this guy, just hop over him, but be ready before you go through this door, because there is a cheap enemy on the other side waiting to murder you. So go through, face left, and just start slashing with the staff. Feel free to use scrolls for this turret, or Donnie works well if you don't have scrolls to spare. And if you got here and maybe you had to use a continue, or you don't have scrolls, or maybe you accidentally grabbed ninja stars back there like a doofus, you can grab 20 more scrolls just over here. You can't farm this area, but hey, at least you have scrolls. Then drop down, feel free to scroll these evil kangaroo guys, and then over here on the far right ledge, you'll want to drop off and lean left to avoid another one waiting for you at the bottom. On the other side of this turret, there is a full pizza, so hop over and give it to Donnie if he's not full, or to whoever needs it. Next, drop down, lean left again, and go down. Take it slow through here, there are more of those laser guys, and like before, just let them fly over you. Duck them, don't fight them. If you fight them, they will ruin your day. Then take out this turret, and then jump across and grab this invincibility pickup. I gave it to a turtle that doesn't have scrolls to avoid accidentally getting a pickup I don't want, but with this ability, you can roll all the way down the hallway unaffected. Once through this door, switch back to Donnie and get ready for the home stretch. So you'll go right, duck the laser guys, just let them glide over you. There's a rhythm to it. You don't want any part of their lasers. Stab down on the low-flying enemies to duck the upper one and kill the lower one. Repeat this all the way down the hallway. It gets more narrow as you go, and you might end up taking some damage, but you want to move right and get those floating guys off the screen, because if they gang up on you, on both sides, you won't survive long. I like to take out this one here with a scroll because he's hard to duck in this narrow space. But then this next one, for some reason, he just hates it when turtles duck, I guess. So just duck and then wait for him to back away, walk forward, then stab down on that flying enemy, move forward again, rinse, repeat until you get to the end of the hallway, and eventually he'll just disappear. What a weirdo. Now go up the ladder, switch to a scroll turtle. Now this takes a little finesse. I like to walk over to the pipes here, jump, turn back, and shoot a pair of fadeaway scrolls at this guy who reappears. Took a little damage there, but hey, we're okay. Now you have all those scrolls, so go eliminate Shredder. Pop down in here and put your nose up against this tilted donut-looking thing and face the nearest wall and crouch. It's like you're playing hide and seek with Shredder, but you picked the worst spot. He'll land in the corner, and then just scroll him until he dies. And that's it. You defeated Shredder and saved the world. Now, Splinter can return to his human form, which is great news because that guy was absolutely sick of eating sewer pizza. And that should give you all the guidance you need to beat Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES the way I did here. The big thing is to get the scrolls and hope you get lucky in the caves. But that's all for this video, so as always, stay bodacious, and thanks for watching.